Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA. It's Thursday, it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. What else could you possibly be doing that's better than spending a little time with me as we talk about our tours? Hope everyone's had a great week, and as always, cellular devices on. 203 518 8408 is the cell. Any questions about our tours? Send me a text. I am looking at my phone as we speak. And of course, the chat's open as well. But if you're not watching us live, you're watching us on social media, you have a question about any one of our tours, send me a text on my cell, 203 518 8408, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And you never know, maybe I'll give you a little shout out on the show here just because you asked a good question. So, first, I'm going to start off by saying you're welcome. And I knew it. I am the Nostradamus of YouTube Super Bowl predictors. A week ago, I predicted a couple of things. The Eagles win fairly comfortably, which I was right. I predicted that the Eagles defense was going to be the story. And I was right about that one, too. I knew, or I thought going into this game, that the Eagles defense did not get all the credit they deserved. And to play that well, they have 5 sacks of Patrick Mahomes, and he ran for his life all night without a single blitz. Like, that's just a crazy stat. We'll get into some more football stuff in a bit. But the only place I fell short, I predicted Saquon Barkley would turn in an MVP performance because as a Giants fan myself, it just seemed like that's what was going to happen. I was wrong there, but otherwise, I think I hit the mark pretty well with my Super Bowl special. So you're welcome, people. I tend to be right about most things, right, Tim? And so football season's over, and right now, if you're a hockey fan like me, the Four Nations tournament is happening as we speak. Team USA is set to face off for their first game, and as soon as we're done watching that video, I'm going to check it out. But it's a rough time of year for sports. You know, all we have, and it's no disrespect to NBA and college basketball at all. I love them. But my favorite time of year is that stretch in October where all the major sports are happening at the same time. My least favorite time of year is right now. I don't care about the combine for the NFL draft. I don't care about preseason baseball. Hockey's in a hiatus right now, even though the Four Nations Cup is a pretty cool tournament. And, basketball is in full swing, which is great, but it's just not the same. So I'm looking forward to October again. But on to Student Athlete World Business, the reason why you're tuning in to begin with. So we have a lot of good things going on right now. And last week I gave everyone kind of a synopsis of our Pyrenees Basketball Cup tour. And I'm still really excited. Like, I still partially regret not pushing to go on that tour this year. It is going to be a great tour. And I thought what I'll do this week is kind of go through our other tours. I think every week now I'll go through a different tour and some of the things that are either new or highlighted or just like super exciting about the tour. But one thing I do also want to point out is, and if you're watching this, if you don't follow our social media accounts, you're wrong. All right, so like most of our accounts are under Student Athlete W, Instagram, which is probably our most popular, at Student Athlete W. Tim, who it's kind of funny because he's the president and founder of the company. He's the brains behind the operation, but he's so kind of buried as a silent partner that, if you're familiar with our company, you don't hear a whole lot from Tim. And I'm not just saying this because he's my boss and I'm a total butt kisser. But he's been really working hard to enhance and revamp our social media presence. And there have been some videos going up this week, kind of a commercial for the company, and then kind of a spotlight video for those who are registering to tour with us. And I think they're awesome products. I haven't spoken to him about it yet, because he started this project after the last time we met, but it's really good work. And one of the things that I love about this company is we're a small business. Most of the work is done by Tim and myself. And we are really taking strides to present ourselves as if we're a big business in terms of how we present ourselves as a company, the work we do, and the quality of the tours. And so, Tim, kudos to you for continuing to really, I think, master the social media game. I think what we're doing right now is awesome. I've enjoyed watching it myself, and I wish I could take credit for any of it. I cannot take credit for even 0.5%. This summer, I'll get you some good pictures and videos when I'm on tour. But other than that, it's just really good stuff. So if you have not been checking out our social media, hop on it. Again, at Student Athlete W is our handle for a lot of our accounts, particularly our Instagram. I think we post stuff I think Tim is putting stuff up 365 days a year, it seems like. So if you want to know more about us, of course, our website is a super comprehensive as you get, studentathleteworld.com, but our social media really does tell our story. And I think Tim just did an amazing job kind of stepping up the game there. So great stuff. So tour of the week this week, I'm going to pick United World Games. Like I said, last week was Pyrenees Basketball Cup. This week is United World Games. And first of all, for those of you who enjoy spending this kind of time with me, you'll get to see me in person. I'm going to be helping to coordinate that tour on the ground this year. Can't wait for that. I've been there before. Looking forward to doing it again. Our first ever ice hockey teams will be competing. And of course, we'll be super competitive in basketball as well. And, there's two highlights of the tour to kind of point out for those of you still considering traveling with us. One is we've made one significant fundamental change to the tour this year, and that is we're landing in Vienna. We will spend time in Vienna this year. And I'm really excited about that. If you ask people who've traveled to that area of Europe, Vienna is, and again, this is what I've heard, on par with going to Paris. That is something that I've heard from a lot of people, that it is truly a gem in Europe. So I've never been to Vienna. The last United World Games tour, we did not go to Vienna. We landed in Munich and then took off in Munich, and everything else we did was like in between. This year, we're going to land in Vienna, do the whole tour, then depart from Munich to come home. But we will definitely spend some time in Vienna. And I know I can't wait because I've heard only incredible things about the city. I'm going to find some authentic Wiener Schnitzel in Vienna, and there will be a video and pictures about that. I can assure you of that one to begin with. So that's one highlight to go through. The other one is, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this one. We sent out an email this week for those who have already registered about the optional day trip to Venice, Italy. So should I do it? Should I not? And it's really up to you. The way I see it, there's no wrong decision. All right. I did the Venice trip 2 years ago when I was on United World Games tour. And the two things about that trip is Venice is a beautiful city. It is unforgettable. Everything from the food to the architecture to just, the scenery, the culture. It really is an incredible experience to go to Italy. It gives you a third country on this tour, which of course makes it unique and special. I just remember I was on a gondola. We do a gondola ride as part of that trip. And while I was on the gondola, I got notification that I'd been paid for that pay period. It's an automated system that Tim uses. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm getting paid to ride a gondola right now in Venice, Italy. Like, who has a better job than me, right? Every millionaire and billionaire, but otherwise no one else has a better job than I have. It really is an amazing journey and experience to go to Venice. And for those of you who, if you've never been to Italy or never been to Venice before, or even just never really traveled before, it's worth it because it really is a unique and special country. All right. And city. Apologies. However, it's also a very long day. And so, that is something we make crystal clear when we do some outreach about choosing to go on that particular trip. It's just a long bus ride there and back. It is a beautiful one. It is very relaxing. But we will ultimately spend hours in the bus to spend 5 or 6 hours in the city. And that should be part of your consideration as well, because you do have the opportunity to stay behind in Austria. Our teams will practice that day. We have the Oktoberfest that evening as part of the United World Games. So it's not like there's a day with nothing planned. It's just, do you want a day with more travel to it, or do you want a day to relax and kind of enjoy the scenery? And there's a lot to enjoy in Klagenfurt, Austria. I think everyone can make their own decision there. I certainly am not making a recommendation. I loved Venice. If Tim tells me, well, hey, I want you to go to Venice, do your social media videos, pictures there, I'm going. Like, I will really enjoy it. But just, it's one of those things there where you kind of know your own lifestyle, what makes you happy and what you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing. So I'm not going to make that decision for you. I think you're going to have the experience of your life, whether you go to Venice or not. But I did get that question quite a bit this week. So hopefully for anyone who that question is in the back of your head, I've answered it for you. If you're still considering traveling with us for United World Games, hopefully that answers the question for you. Well, I'm telling you about United World Games, and just like Pyrenees Basketball Cup, our roster spots are filling. So if you have not yet registered for that tour, certainly get on that one quickly, because we are going to fill that tour, and that time's coming pretty soon, just like Pyrenees Basketball Cup. Other highlights of the tour, obviously, you go to the website and click on our tours page. But I just think the United World Games itself is a fantastic event. I think the highlight is the opening ceremony. Imagine the experience of marching in behind your flag during the opening ceremony into an NFL-sized stadium and being introduced as the United States of America with thousands of people watching. There's nothing like it. Not going to lie, I snuck in with the athletes 2 years ago. May have to do it again this year. It really is a wonderful experience. And the games themselves are super competitive, and it's a great Olympic-style atmosphere. There are 15 different sports. I think last year there were more than 8,000 athletes there. It's just a wonderful experience competing there. And I enjoyed being there watching our athletes compete. And I'm going to, this year we'll have a couple different sports there. So I'm really excited for that. And the tour, as we've advertised, will end in Munich, Germany. Munich was just an incredible city. All right, Munich was one of my favorite stops on any tour I've done to this point. But on that tour, the food is really good. The hotel we stay at for most of it in Klagenfurt, Austria, just an incredible boutique European hotel. The scenery is amazing. We have a couple of long bus rides on that tour, like we have on pretty much all of our tours, but it might have been the best bus ride I've ever taken, just because we're going through the Alps and the mountain range that goes throughout that part of Europe. And it's just beautiful. So it is a fantastic tour. It is a tour that a lot of people go to. Is insanely popular. It will be very busy again this year, and I think it's great. So that's my tour of the week, United World Games. Next week, I'll likely do Spain and Portugal because I know a few things about that tour. But if you're someone who is still considering traveling with us, and we do have roster spots available, they are going quickly for all of our tours, watch these next few videos because I'll give you as much of a synopsis of our tours as I possibly can. So now, what in the world? This week's What in the World is brought to you by Butterfinger. Welcome aboard, Butterfingers, Butterfinger, the candy bar. Welcome aboard as a sponsor. And why Butterfinger this week? Why did we approach them for a sponsorship? Because we got to talk about Travis Kelce and the Super Bowl. Like, oh my goodness. And here's my thing, and I always try to give my unique spin, no pun intended, for what in the world. Here's the deal. Like, look, he's one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the game. And from my perspective, Mark Bavaro is the greatest tight end who's ever played, with all due respect to Gronkowski and the others. But he will likely be a Hall of Fame tight end. All right. He is your prototypical NFL tight end. Can catch, can block, great athlete, difference maker. I don't think the Chiefs this year were nearly as good as their previous Super Bowl teams, and it showed in the Super Bowl. I think on the offensive end, where they did struggle at times, a lot of it were because, Kelce just wasn't the performer that he was. So, and that happens as you get older, right? Any athlete, father time is undefeated. Here's the issue I have, though. All right, number one, now that we're in the post-mortem period for the Super Bowl, there are videos, and I've seen now at least 3 or 4 of them, where literally he just stood there on different plays throughout the game, stood still. And there's one in particular, I don't remember which outlet circulated it, but there was a play where Patrick Mahomes was scrambling for his life, and you saw Kelce just stand still, with his arms up, what do I do? It's like, dude, go out and get open. Like, you're an outlet. Like, you could be the check down pass. And he literally stood there with kind of his arms up, like almost like no one told me what the play was kind of look. And there's another video where Mahomes got sacked. And you saw him throw like the worst block ever and it wasn't a blitzer. All right. It was, the Eagles rushed with 4 linemen the whole game and kept getting to Patrick Mahomes. And you saw him just give like almost like a reverse back check kind of block where the guy just blew right by him. But then you also read his stories like Taylor Swift got booed. And of course, Taylor Swift is getting booed. And as you know, this is an apolitical show. Like, I'll never get into politics here. I don't think Taylor Swift was booed because the President of the United States was there and they don't get along. Taylor Swift was booed because she was there to root for the Chiefs. And from my perspective as a viewer, 65, 70% of the crowd in New Orleans were Eagles fans. So they're going to boo her, right? And it's just like, that's just how it is. Like, Eagles fans are extremely passionate. Taylor Swift, in many ways, has become the face of the Kansas City Chiefs these last 2 years because she's dating one of their star players, and so be it. I can't stand it personally, but that's just me. So that's why I think she was booed. But there were articles written, and I read New York Post covered it, where his reaction, like he was so shocked and heartbroken because she was booed. So here's my question. You're getting ready for a Super Bowl, potentially the last game of your career, right? Biggest game of the season. I don't care how many Super Bowls you've been to. If you're in a Super Bowl, it's the biggest game of your life. And you're in any way concerned that your girlfriend was booed because they showed her on the video board. No. All right. And that's where, like, you have to be able, as a professional, not just a professional athlete, as a professional, you have to draw the line. I am here to perform as a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, my girlfriend is the most recognizable female probably on the planet right now. All right. If not one of the most recognizable. Yes, she's getting booed. She has billions of dollars, most likely, to deal with those boos. Okay. She doesn't need adoration everywhere she goes. If she announced a tour tomorrow, visiting 25 different countries, 100 concerts, she'll probably sell out 100 concerts. She's the biggest superstar in the world right now. And she got booed. And that's what you're worried about? No. Nope. Sorry. And is that why the Chiefs lost? No. The Eagles were going to win that game no matter what. But the point being, if his mindset, if he's kind of one of the catalysts for the Chiefs offense, follow me here, one of the people that the Eagles need to key in on to stop the Chiefs, and his head wasn't in the game from the beginning of warmups, from the time he woke up, if any part of his head was worried about his girlfriend's hurt feelings, all right, he was never going to play the game that the Chiefs needed, and he didn't. All right. And for that, it will never tarnish his legacy. I think his number gets retired by the Chiefs. He's probably in the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest tight ends ever. But if that was his last game, he'll be remembered for not even having a bad game. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a good game. There's a lot of Chiefs that did not have a good game. But he will be remembered for being the guy that his bad day was caused because his head was someplace else. And what's pretty interesting is, you get these NFL superstars who date famous people who get all the attention, and suddenly their performance isn't quite as good. Remember Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson? It wasn't that long ago. It probably was that long ago. I'm just getting old. But it wasn't that long ago that Tony Romo was dating Jessica Simpson, and they started showing on Cowboys games, more of Jessica Simpson than Jerry Jones, which never happens, right? And suddenly Tony Romo wasn't as good of a quarterback. And now you have this, all right? And, if you're an NFL player with, a computer full of info and data to process every game, you might want to consider who you're inviting to come to the games. Maybe have them watch at home. Because here's another case where I just think he lost focus. And it showed in how he played, like watch the videos. So, Mr. Kelsey, it's been a wonderful career. Hate to see anyone's career end on a bad note. Maybe you got another year or two left in you. I don't know. But next time around, maybe leave Taylor at home. That's it for the latest spin this week. As always, how do I get to do this? How do I get to see the world, compete in my sport, represent my country in the coolest thing I'll ever do? Only one way. And that way is running out of time because our spots are filling. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, interview with me, and pack your bags. Have a great week, my friends. We'll see everyone next week.